I've often said that belly dance is much more than just a movement vocabulary. After all, we share most of our moves with plenty of other dancers. But as a teacher, you will actually have to teach moves. Just like if you are teaching a language, you will have to teach the alphabet. So here's some ideas how you can do it. Hi, I'm Kashmir and I've been teaching belly dance now for over 20 years. And I've been to lots of other people's classes too, so probably over 50 at the last count. So I've seen also what works and what doesn't work from other people. And to add to that, I've also had some formal training and teaching, including teaching of dance. Now this is not going to actually take the place of a formal course. I think I spent 2 years on my dance teaching course, but this will give you some ideas where to start. Now teaching is much more than just teaching movement vocabulary, but that's what we're going to concentrate on in this video. So we're going to look at movement vocabulary and we're going to focus on beginners. Now a lot of these things are transferable, but my focus will be on a beginner class because those are actually the hardest classes to take. So where do we start? First of all, you need to decide what moves you are going to teach and realistically how fast you can teach them. Now you may have a reason to teach a move. You may decide to teach a choreography. I would not recommend that with a raw beginner class, but that's up to you. So you have a list of moves that you want to teach. Now, some of them are going to be really easy because they are built on other moves. So if we take something like a hip figure 8, so basically you've got a slide and you've got a rotation. So until the students have got a twist and a slide, there's not much point in bringing in a horizontal figure 8. So when you've got these dependencies, teach the simplest skill first. Then again, a hip drop. If they can't do a hip rock, then their technique for their drop is going to be a bit wonky. So just think about what relies on what. You also need to consider safety. Now belly dance is pretty much a safe dance form. If it's done correctly, if you have correct posture, if you have automatic ab control, if you have enough strength, if you have enough range of motion. I don't know about you, but that doesn't actually describe most of my beginners. So these things, the posture, the strength, the ab control is actually built through your class. So you've got to start with moves that don't require that for safety. And I tend to stick to horizontal moves. Most of your horizontal moves are pretty safe. Vertical moves, I really only a hip rock and a shoulder shrug. That's about it. The vertical hip work definitely needs ab control, automatic ab control. If your students haven't got it, if one student in your class hasn't got it, then you can't do anything like that. Ditto with undulations. So safety will also decide, will trim up your list. So you had a lovely list, well you're going to have to take some of them off because they're not suitable for beginners. When you've got your list, the next thing you have to do is decide how to teach them. So for each move, you need to think of different ways of teaching them. Now obviously you're going to show the move. You've got to be able to do the move. So you certainly need a certain amount of technique to be a teacher. So you need to be able to show the move. You may also want to show the variations that are not acceptable. So when I teach a big hip circle, I do the one with the arse sticking out and the really badly curved back. Ditto with a figure 8. They soon get the idea that maybe the neutral pelvis, there's something in that as far as aesthetics go as well as safety. So you need to be able to show it. You need to be able to talk about it. You need to know what the move is because again we're looking at Western dances and we've got a particular way of thinking. You'd probably get laughed at if you tried this in a Middle Eastern situation, but I'm assuming that you're teaching somewhere in the West. So you need to be able to talk about the move. If you know muscle stuff and you've got at least one person in your class who knows muscle talk, then you can talk about the muscles. don't overdo it, because otherwise it just looks like you're showing off. But it is important sometimes to say that this is actually done with your obliques, your side muscles. It's not done with your legs. So they've got to hear that. You can also use imagery. So when I'm doing my hip rocks, I'm thinking of a string that goes from the outside of my hip into my armpit. So I'm pulling it up vertically. The idea of the vertical movement is important. And you can use sounds. So it's not a beginner move, but for example, if you're doing a 3/4 shimmy, the sha 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 gives them the idea that in actual fact it's not a shimmy, it's a broken movement, and it has got this particular rhythm. So I will often sing along with the music, but that's another story. So you've got to have all these different ways, because different students will have different ways of learning. And I have actually struck students who the only way they can learn a move is to watch me. Which can be unfortunate, because I do like to watch the other students, but for some cases you actually get a group of students like chickens, and you will walk down the hall doing the move over and over again, and they will follow you, and as soon as you walk away they'll lose it. Problem there, but you need to be aware of. I couldn't compress several years of study into 5 minutes. Never mind. I'll continue in the next video next week, looking at actually teaching the moves.